G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bears Shed. Well, what a week. We missed Kangaroo Stew last week. I had a little one done and there wasn't much content in it as we went away, and I only got back on Monday. Then I had to clean the cars and all that, so there wasn't much content in it. So I left it until Tuesday to get it all rendered and all that, but we had that big storm come through, and so we had no power for 2 nights, and so yeah, by the time I got time to do it, it was sort of all irrelevant. Time had passed. So, but look, it was a cracker storm. On Tuesday this last week, Melbourne Cup Day, I was at work and we looked out. We had a storm warning and we looked out and at work and thought, oh, this is a bit of a nasty looking one. So I said to the fellas, look, I'm going to head home, just make sure everything's good at home, but they live way out of town, the fellas, so I said, we've rented the shed next door, put your cars in under there out of the hail if you need to, and see how you go. So, well, I got home at 4:45, and just as I walked in the door, we had hail bouncing in the backyard, which didn't last for long, and it just poured, and the wind blew, and I had the roof almost come off. One row of screws held the iron on the dog kennel, and it blew. I can't remember a storm like it. And in the front yard at home there, we've got a big bottle brush tree, probably 14 inches across, something like that. Well, it uprooted that out of the ground. The wattle trees around the paddock, I've got quite a bit of tidying up to do. I'll take a little wander with the camera and just show you a few of the little bits and pieces. And a lot of just small twiggy branches and that to pick up around the paddock. But the paddock's quite damp still. It lasted about 30-35 minutes, and we had just under 2 inches of rain in that time. And that was in the rain gauge, but I've got a tray out the front there that's got 4 inches of water in it that was empty. So I don't know where that all came from. And but yeah, so it was a wild and woolly week. We had no power, and the storm come through that wild that it actually sheared the power poles off down the road here from us. So we had no electricity from 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon to it come on about 8 o'clock Wednesday evening or something like that. So we had to run the generator, get the generator out of the shed here, and run up in the back of the ute to keep the fridge going. And when you live in a rural setting, not only do you have to keep the fridge going, if you want to have a shower or want water, we have solar hot water, but if you want water, you've got to run a cord out to the pressure pump. And then we've got a septic system because council said we had to push shit uphill, and so there's another pump in there, and so you've got to run these power cords around to keep the show on the road. But man, it was a beauty. In the paper they were saying that worst one on record for decades. So how long, who knows. The airport registered 120 km/h winds, but some of the farmers that have their own weather stations around, they're up over 160, 170 km/h. I have a customer, Jim, lost all of the roof off his farm sheds, open farm sheds. Been through cyclones and all that, but this one took them off. He had a 5,000 gallon tank that was low on water, and it actually picked it up, and it's half a kilometre away in the neighbour's paddock. And the business next to ours, we own Queensland Tractor Spares, the business next to ours, Bundaberg Home Theatre, Tony's staff were showing me a photo yesterday where a fairly new shed, all cyclone rated and all that, it got in there, it's lifted the roof on it, and where you have the purlins going along the shed, one at the bottom, one in the middle, one at the top, and the iron screws to it. Well, there's that much pressure in the shed, the screws are still there, and the iron has bowed out. It's taken the crease out of the iron between the beams. So I've never seen that before. But anyway, it was a cracker. So in Bundaberg this season, it seems like it's going to rattle our chain a bit and be a bit wild. We had the storm that wrecked the gazebos a little while ago, a month ago, and then we've had this one, and I suppose it's storm season, but geez, it was a beauty. and quite a few houses in town don't have roofs. When you're coming to our place off Kendall's Road, up near the airport, you head down Kendall's Road and you come to a T-intersection onto Branyan Drive, which takes you out to our place here. And there was an older place there that had most of its roof, about half of it gone completely. There's an old pensioner bloke in town lost his roof, so they've set up a GoFundMe and they're getting him back sorted. And but yeah, the Ergon people are working around the clock trying to get everyone back going. On the news, there was out in front of the Centrelink office in town here, there's a big fig tree and it's hundreds of years old. They took it out, and the root base on it would be 10 foot across or something. It's just lifted it all out of the bitumen. It had sort of bitumen around it so you could park under it and all that, and it lifted the whole thing out and landed it on a car with a couple of people in it, but they were unharmed. Unharmed except for needing new underwear, I'd reckon. Boy, it was a big tree. But so yeah, look, it's been an exciting week. We had been the week before, we'd been up to the niece's 21st birthday party up at a place called Banana, and we went out to Mara at the mines, and they've got a lookout there, and on that lookout you can watch the trucks, and we'd been there before, but at the moment the trucks are coming really close, like 50 foot from you. And so nephew Dave, Ray, he works out there, and he took us out there. It was good to have someone explaining that their payload is 380 tonnes in the trucks, and they do that in 4 buckets. And there's a 200, the little trucks are 200 tonne, and 220 maybe, and they're 3 bucket loads off the excavator to fill those little fellas up, and man, they're big. But I'll try and show you a picture after we left, and just yesterday they sent me through a picture from there, and the road we drove along out to the lookout is split in half, and it looks like there's been an earthquake, and the bitumen's just parted, and there's a gap so big in the road. What they're saying happened was they did some blasting. Pardon me, they did some blasting at the mine, and it's upset something. They're thinking there may be a underground tunnel there that they weren't aware of, and it's opened the road up. So it's a. I'll see if I can grab a picture off Facebook and put that on Kangaroo Stew this week, just out of interest, just to show you what's going on there. So, but I had Banggood get on to me again to see if I'd like to do a few more reviews, and Banggood reviews are funny things. It's good to have stuff for nothing and have a bit of a play with it and see what you like and what you don't like about it, and give an opinion to the best of your ability. And but yeah, last time I done some, I got a couple of private messages that says, yeah, your bloody channel's gone to shit doing that and all that stuff. And I thought, oh well, perhaps I won't bother doing it. And then I thought about it. I see JC and a few of the others doing them, and they're enjoying them, and Rob from South Australia, Xanadu, he's doing some and enjoying it. And look, some of the stuff's great and some of it's crap, but I wasn't going to do any more. I thought, oh no, people get the shits with it. But out of my 4,000 subscribers, there was only 3 that sort of got the shit. So I thought, oh bugger it, I'll do it again. But what I'm going to do is, you know how you have the playlists, any Banggood reviews or anything like that, I'm going to put on a Banggood playlist. So people that come to visit my channel, they can run through and have a look at the Banggood stuff, or they can just delete it completely, get rid of it, and not go in there. It's their choice. But it is a bit of fun. It's a way of getting a bit of cheap stuff into your shop to have a fiddle with. And so I had a yarn to them, and I said, yeah, look, I will do a couple more. But I chose a few different things. If you remember the sander one, remember I got a sander, an air sander off them. So they sent me an email asking would I do some more, and I said, well, yeah, okay, but and I sent them 2 things that I'd like to do them on, and they sent me another sander, and I said, well, I've already done a bloody sander. What do you want me to do with it? Send it back? And they said, oh no, you keep it now. Yeah, you're good. You can do another review if you like, but I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. That sander that I got from them last time, that air sander, I use that a lot. I was surprised how much I do use it. I went and bought some Shinano brand belts for it, and look, it's a handy thing. So yeah, without pissing in their pocket too much, it's a good thing. The other thing I asked for was an infrared laser thermometer, which they've sent me. I just got that yesterday, and the reason I thought that was because I used to have one and I enjoyed using. I used to use it a lot, but I sold it with the business. And when I do the Fergie bearings and all that, I thought it'd be interesting to see the temperature that I can get them in my chip cooker. So those that have watched my how to fit an axle bearing on a TE20, they'll know that I get a bearing, a bigger tapered roller bearing, and I drop it in a chip cooker, and I let the heat sink in a chip cooker at about 180, 200 degrees, and then the bearing just drops on. And so the missus bought these induction cookers, so I'm going to nick one of them just for a trial. I'm going to sit a bearing with a bit of oil on it, a bearing on that, and see if that'll get it to the temperature to drop on. So that's why I thought I'd go for one of these and give it a run, and just so I can see that sitting on the induction cooker, when and if the bearing gets hot enough to try and drop it on the axle without wasting a good bearing. And the other thing I chose from them to do was, it's a digital tachometer, and I chose this one for two reasons. One is it's infrared, so I can check the speed of my tractors and things like that for tuning purposes and that by just pressing the button, and it has a reflective sticker on the moving part. I can check the revolutions per minute. The other thing was checking my lathe, seeing if it's accurate for revolutions per minute. And the other reason I went for this one is that there's a setting there that says meters per minute, and it gives you a little roller which must be calibrated to this unit, and it goes on there. Then when you put something in the lathe, if you're looking for a cutting speed of so many meters a minute or feet per minute or something like that, I thought that'd be interesting. Well, you get a bit of inch round, and you read that it says you need to do it at 600 RPM to get it cutting nicely or something like that. I thought it'd be interesting to, with different radiuses of stuff, you can just put it in the lathe, try say 600 RPM and let that spin and tell you how many feet a minute. So that's just a novelty thing really, and I thought I'd give that a go. I used to have one of these as well. They're the little pieces of reflective tape that go with it. So pardon me, hopefully this weekend sometime I'll do a couple of reviews on these and get them out there and see how they go. And look, I'm sure they'll be alright. The other ones I've had Raytech and some other better brand stuff over the time, but look, they worked fine, and they got bounced around in utes, and I had a Blue Point one that was made in China, and it was good. So look, I'm expecting them to go well, so we'll just see how we go with it, eh? And the postie came, and I bought a 20mm left hand boring bar. And I mean, the 20mm one, you remember I bought a tool post the other day, and the bolts are probably tight there, but I like, and it's just a personal thing, with a boring bar, often with the tip coming out here, you're boring something, and you got to get around and look in the hole to see how you're going, or look at the back surface to see how you're going. And I often like to see what the tip's doing, have a look up there. So on my little lathe, I've got a couple of left-hand boring bars, so you actually run the lathe in reverse, but when you're running it in, say you've got that much sticking out and you're doing a big bush hole, well, you can actually see how it's going and see what's happening. So they take your normal common triangle inserts, so it's an insert that we have plenty of. So yeah, one of those boring bar holders I'm going to set with the left hand 20 mil and one with a 20 left hand 20 millimeter right hand. One left and one right. Getting a bit tongue tied. And so that'll be set up on the tool post and all that, and we'll get that going. But this weekend, I don't know what we're going to get done in the shop here. We're going to, I've got a couple of videos on a Fergie clutch I have to get out. The TED 20, the barn find, getting that going. I've got to drop the distributor back in that, and I should be able to get that running this weekend, hopefully. Machining, I don't know, we'll just see what ends up. We've got to clean up. The young bloke's coming to get the trailer to help shift house, so there may be something there. So I just don't know what we've got to get done for the weekend. We're going to give it a shot, get a bit of content in here for you, but we'll just see how it goes. I think last Monday when I came back from being away, I think I brought all the storms on because I washed 4 vehicles in one day. So that's, never happens. So, and neither of these storms. So I'm going to refrain from washing too many vehicles in one hit, and one at a time, and we'll just have little storms, we think. Yeah, so go from there. But look, thanks for watching. I'll see what I can tack on the end here, a bit of content, make it a bit interesting for you, and we'll catch you later, eh? Well, this morning we're over at the lathe. I'll bring you into shot a little bit, and what the problem we have is these sleeves from the quick change tool post holders I bought. The sleeves to hold the boring bars in are 3/4, and the boring bars that I've chosen to buy for that size, they're 20 millimeters, so they don't go in. So I thought about taking off something off the outside of all the boring bars, and I thought, well, you're just losing a bit of rigidity and things like that. I have got a couple of spare sleeves. As where the big boring bar is, I take the sleeve out and I don't use the sleeve at all. So the sleeves are quite long, and I've got this little boring bar hanging way out there, and that's just way too long to be sensible. But look, I'm just going to give it a run anyway, and the finish, if we get a bit of a chattery finish, it doesn't matter a lot. It's just that's what I'm expecting actually, and it's an interrupted cut too, which is not the best. The other option, if this doesn't work, is just turn up a couple more of these and split them. But I just thought I'd like to try this and see if it works. I'm only going to do one and see. I've got it clamped in the truck reasonably tight. So anyway, we'll just see. Might come to grief this. I'll bring you over there a bit closer. Might come to grief. We'll just have a look. Might pay if I actually turn the lathe on. I found over the years turning them on helps. Up gently and see. Funny enough, that's not a bad finish. You wouldn't think so. You'd think with it hanging out that far, the chatter would just be incredible. Alright, we'll start. Well, look, surprisingly enough, that's not a bad job. I'll see if I can get it to focus in on there for you a little bit. You can just see a tiny little track going down, which it's got a track on the outside, so I'm happy with that. But we're not quite there yet. We'll do another run, or I might speed her up and see how we go. There you go, I just sped it up. Like I've had it sitting on .220 RPM, and it left a nice finish, and I thought, oh, that's a bit slow, I'll speed it up a bit. So I brought it up to 640, and it's chattering like buggery. So, back to nice and slow. Alright, that's not looking too bad, not a bad finish. It does go in. So look, I think I'll do a spring pass, because with that sitting like that, going into the tool holder, oh, it's still nice and loose. Well, I might just do a quick tidy up pass, I think, just to, yeah, could do with it. It's not bad, but we could get better, so we'll try for better. Well, there we go. It's not a bad finish, it's come up pretty good. Considering the overhang we had. And the bars go up nicely. That's how you want them, because then the set screws clamp it in. And then when you put the split to the screws, then when we just nip that up, I've got one big one. When we nip that up, that holds onto it. So there you go. All these little jobs that you got to bloody do. I'm wobbling around a bit here, but yeah, that one's done. I might do the other sleeve so I can leave two of them permanently set up. They're about my favourite size, the 20mm ones for doing tractor work. A common end that we can just bang on any time, so okay, job done. We have a left and a right hand boring bar all set up. This little 12mm, look, it's a little Chinese one, like the Banggood one, but it's not Banggood, it's just I bought it off eBay. A 12mm boring bar sticking out 90mm, and it did a lovely job inside there. I did a spring cut to tidy things up, and it was lovely. So there you go, one little job done. Many more to go in Bundy Bears Shed, I tell you. Everywhere you look, there's jobs to do. But anyway, that'll do it. Job done, I reckon. Well, we had a bit of a blow over the week. Here's a bit of, a few branches down there. We come over here, we got bits and pieces all broken. We've got branches down there which no biggie. Across the paddock we got trees there down. A few other branches, they look like older ones over through here though. So yeah, we got a few little jobs to do, a bit of clean up and things like that to happen. And we've got a bigger one down up at the house, which we'll go up and have a look at shortly. And this is just in the front yard here. The house is just there. And this is at the side of the front yard. It's sort of like a political tree, big head, but not much substance down the bottom. Looks half rotten actually. So the storm, I don't know, it hadn't died or anything. The leaves were still okay. It was living okay. The birds loved it, but anyway, that's something to clean up. Not sure if you all like mangoes or not, but just doing a search around the place just to see what's been damaged. Look at the mango crop, they hung on. which I'm grateful for. And then there's another tree over here in the house orchard. They're a lot smaller, but they're still hanging in there nicely. I thought a lot of those fellas might have got blown away, but yeah, no, it's looking good. Mango ice cream, mmm.